Version 1.0. On July 11, 2016, the first version of Special Forces Group 2 was released. This version is the classic game we know today and only contained content from their first game, Special Forces Group 3D, also known as SFG1. One nostalgic thing you might not know about this version is the ramp system. Back then, players used ramps to climb instead of the ladders we see today. Version 1.1. The first update simply added the big desert map along with a few bug fixes. Version 1.2. This update added another new map called West. It became one of my favorite maps when I was a kid, because it was really fun for hide and seek. The flashbang was also introduced in this update. Version 1.3. This update completely reworked zombie mode. When a zombie kills you, you respawn after a few seconds as a zombie, and when the round ends, you turn back into a human. They also added zombie skins, giving players many zombie types to choose from. A new SMG called the Bison and the smoke grenade were also added.
Smoke weed every day.
Version 1.4. This update reworked the game interface. A new map called Ruins 2 was added, along with the auto-fire feature. Footstep sounds were introduced and new customization settings such as sensitivity smoothness were added. Version 1.5. This update introduced the iconic SFG2 game icon we still recognize today. Two new maps were added: Labyrinth, a maze-style map, and Office. Flash grenades were also changed so that buying one allows you to throw two. Bot behavior in bomb mode was improved as well.
Bot behavior in bomb mode was improved as well. Bot behavior in bomb mode was improved as well. Bot behavior in bomb mode was improved as well.
Version 1.6. This update added two snowy maps called Nuke and Winter. A winter-type counter-terrorist soldier was also introduced. Ladders were added, replacing the old ramp climbing system. Another useful feature was the option to resize the crosshair in settings. Version 1.7. Skins were introduced in this update, allowing players to change skin colors. Gameplay was optimized with features like the crosshair turning red when aiming at enemies and green when aiming at allies. Players could also customize on-screen button sizes. Version 1.7.20. This small follow-up update allowed players to get free skins by watching ads. Version 1.8. This update mainly focused on bug fixes and solving speed hack issues. Version 1.9. A new terrorist character was added, which became my favorite up until today.
Shut your fucking mouth!
They also introduced a new map called Desert 3, which is basically a Mirage-style map. Version 2.0. This update added a new counter-terrorist skin called Ghost, a brown-themed variant. A new map called Room was also introduced, which is a giant version of a normal bedroom. Map voting was added along with new language support including Turkish, Portuguese, and Indonesian. They also added my favorite shotgun, the Winchester. Version 2.1. Female characters were introduced for both counter-terrorists and terrorists.
But what the hell, boy?
Three dual-wield weapons were also added: Double Mac-10, Double Infinity, and Double Desert Eagle. Room passwords were introduced as well. Version 2.2. This update added the AK-12 and a new terrorist character that looks similar to the counter-terrorist Ghost but with a mask. Version 2.3. This update added the Desert 4 map. Knife mode was also introduced where players can only use knives, and knife prices increase in this mode. They also added the left-hand feature, allowing weapons to appear on the left side of the screen. Version 2.4. This update added Deathmatch mode, where every player is an enemy, and the winner is determined by the highest number of kills. 4 new knives were added: claw knife, butterfly knife, karambit, and katana. The butterfly knife includes an idle inspection animation. Version 2.5. Players could now drop their weapons. Quality settings were added and several guns such as the AK-47, AK-74M, and AWP were remodeled. The golden AK-47 skin was also introduced. Version 2.6. This update introduced New Big Desert, a modern version of the desert map with a pale theme and more buildings to explore. Version 2.7. Another modern map called New Desert was added for the 2x2 desert. Karambit skins were introduced with one available skin similar to the AK-47 Progress skin. Character hands were also remodeled to look more HD and realistic with visible veins. Version 2.8. This was a limited Christmas update. It added 2 Santa skins, red for terrorists and blue for counter-terrorists. Christmas trees appeared on maps, and the menu also had a Christmas theme. 2 new modes were added: Arms Race, where weapons change after each kill, and Sniper Mode, where only sniper rifles are allowed. If you've reached this far in the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support because it encourages me to make more content like this. Now let's continue. Version 2.9. The Desert Eagle was remodeled to look more shiny and polished. However, the factory and deserted maps were retextured, which I personally didn't like because I preferred the old versions. On the positive side, the Golden Desert Eagle skin and the glowing Phoenix skin for the AK-74M were added. Version 3.0. This update brought huge changes. The interface was modernized and graphics quality improved. Dynamic player movement was also introduced, making gameplay more realistic. A new SMG called the UMP-45 was added. Version 3.1. This update added the village map. Weapon inspection was also introduced, which can be triggered when the gun has a full magazine. Death animations were also added when ragdoll death is disabled. Version 3.2. 6 new crosshairs were added, and the FAMAS and P90 were remodeled to look cleaner. Version 3.3. This update continued their weapon remodeling plan. The AUG and M16 were remodeled, and the LR300 was removed and replaced with the G36C. They also added the iron sight system and a red dot scope for the AUG and G36C. Version 3.4. This update helped players who couldn't afford skins. By setting the server difficulty to expert, players could receive free random skins. However, enemies become extremely strong and weapon prices increase by 2,000 money. They also added 20 new gun skins. Version 3.5. Zombie mode were completely reworked again. Zombies now attack using claws and new animations were added. Zombie bots can now jump, making the mode more challenging. A new map called Station was also added, set in a train station with many areas to explore. They also remodeled the M4 Super 90 and SPAS-12, added a new army knife model, and introduced settings to disable auto inspection and adjust weapon texture quality. Version 3.6. This update focused on gun remodeling. The SVD and USP received new models. The M82 sniper was replaced by the M24. A new feature was the removable silencer system for several weapons including the USP, P90, AK-47, M4A4, AUG, AK-74M, M24, and SVD. Version 3.7. The Christmas theme returned in this update. Christmas trees appeared on some maps, and Santa skins returned. A major addition was the shield. In its first version, it was extremely strong and reliable, even allowing players to survive in zombie mode with just a knife. The shield cost 3,500 game money at this time. Version 3.8. Because the shield was too powerful, it was nerfed, and its price increased to 4,000 money. The Anaconda and PM pistols were remodeled. They also added the Molotov, which spreads fire across an area and works as a good alternative to grenades. Version 3.9. The shield price increased again from 4,000 to 6,000 money. New models were also added for the Glock and HK-416. Version 4.0. This update mainly focused on multiplayer improvements. The biggest feature added was voice chat.
Why you get
Okay,
fried,
yes,
man?
why? Are you crazy?
You're fucking
You
paranoid,
are
man.
fucking, you are fucking.
You fucking, you bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck you bloody.
Making communication between players much easier. Version 4.1. This update introduced the friend system. Players can add others by searching their name or ID, or by tapping their name during a match. Once added, you can see their name above their character and instantly join their server. Version 4.2. This was the final update of Special Forces Group 2. It mainly fixed bugs and added new models for the Winchester and double-barrel shotgun. But did you know there was actually supposed to be a version 4.3? After Forge Games disappeared for about a year, they returned on April 2, 2021, announcing that a new SFG2 update was coming. The first leak showed a revamped house map, followed by more hints and leaks about the update. However, before releasing the beta, they decided to turn the update into a sequel instead. That's how SFG3 was created, which still exists today. One of the main reasons they abandoned SFG2 was because the planned update became too big and complex to add into the old game. Instead of forcing it into SFG2, they decided it would be easier to create a completely new game from scratch. And that's the full history of Special Forces Group 2 updates from version 1.0 to 4.2. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support. If I missed anything from the updates, feel free to comment it below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.